Today's Hidden London Hangout brings us to a brand new station in a box.
And last week we were at the end of the original Metropolitan line, which opened in 1863.
This week we're at the other end of that line at Paddington.
Hello everybody, welcome to Series 4, Episode 14 of the Hidden London Hangouts. My goodness, it feels like it's been a long time. It has. This week we are offering you another amazing exclusive location that we have been invited to go to. It's part of our Elizabeth Line showcase. About 10 episodes of revelation, really, and beautiful architecture of London's newest infrastructure project, as far as transport's concerned, definitely. I don't do this on my own. I've got amazing people from the London Transport Museum, that's 2 already, amazings, to guide us through whatever we're talking about and to have a bit of a laugh along the way as well. And we are colour split today. We're in the grey team and the blue and green team. Chris Nix is in the grey team. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Alex. And well, I'm going to say that today was a fantastic visit. So there you go. You can have a different word.
Just to change the vocabulary. Sidney Holloway was with us as well for our little trip to Paddington. What word would you use to describe our trip?
Let's say glorious visit.
Very nice.
No, it was a really nice visit. Again, just amazing to go and see all the places and see how stunningly they've been fitted out. As Chris will tell you later, we've been there many years ago, so it was nice to come back.
It's interesting because I'd have used the word naughty city for a lot of the conversation that was being had during that trip. More on that one privately later. And Laura Hilton-Brown, you weren't there sadly for this one because you were busy sorting out museum tours, but in anticipation of this little look around this place, what word would you use?
Oh, I don't know. I'm Team Grey as well, as you can tell.
You are,
and I did miss Paddington. I couldn't squeeze it in. We were subterranean at Charing Cross for some amazing Hidden London tours that are going super, super well. I am going with, well, I wasn't there, and do you know what? I've never been to Paddington on a site visit. I missed your one back in the day as well for some reason, so I've not been there, but I am excited. So let's go. Take me and the viewers to Paddington, team.
We should ask her what her word is at the end when she's seen it.
I will. Remind me, notes, queries and questions today, by the way, it's going to set London alight. It's crazy. But anyway, Paddington, without further ado, because normally we have a big long preamble at the start. And I think given that we had the wow moment, we should take you there as well. So in the words of Lloyd Grossman, let's go through the keyhole.
Oh,
wow.
That. Oh my gosh, look at the lights.
It's a bit different to when we were last here, isn't it, Sidney?
Yeah.
It was just being cast when we were last here.
And the big difference for me is that this is so different to Farringdon because we've got vertical walls. This is the box, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a station box, 20
Yeah.
metres deep, and totally different construction technique to the mine station we were at last week.
Yeah. This is more reminiscent of, say, Battersea Power Station or something like that, but even bigger. It's absolutely enormous, as all of these stations are.
But it's gorgeous. I mean, the
Yeah.
ceiling is stunning with these beautiful round lights.
Yeah.
I love the wall over there. What is that? Brick walls with bricks missing? What is that?
Well, if I had to guess, I might say that it's one, it looks better than a solid wall, and two,
Yeah,
there
it
might be
does.
some sound damping material behind the holes.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
But look at the base of the escalators as well. They're
Yeah.
beautifully lit. And the escalator on the way down. We've got more sort of lines of light at foot level.
I think one of the material choices here is very different because we've been seeing stainless steel. Here, you've got bronze.
Bronze. I was just thinking that. So
this
it's got
is bronze.
Yeah.
It's got a nod to Charles Holden here almost.
Is it just?
Proper.
Oh, wow.
The other thing is these lily pad light designs that are cast into the ceiling soffit. It's just
So smart.
Is that all bronze on the wall?
yeah. So
All of it's bronze.
Well, doesn't this station have
Steptoe would have a field day here, wouldn't he?
So I think some of it's actual bronze and some of it's bronze coloured.
But
there's a lot of bronze there.
yeah.
It's good.
But doesn't this feel very different to Farringdon? It's got like a warmer glow to it. It feels more
Autumn tone.
And so much natural light as well. You see this huge atrium of bright light. It's
And that's
gorgeous.
really the difference between a mine station and a box station is you get the opportunity to get lateral light all the way down to platform level. and it's a fundamentally different way of building a station.
It's kind of amazing how subtly they've managed to get the kind of character of Paddington into the design. There's something about it. I'm immediately going, yeah, this is Paddington.
It's heritage.
Yeah.
It feels like heritage.
It feels heritagey.
So to look at the things, we've got the beautiful round lights. I'm just thinking of Lloyd Grossman, who would live in a house like this? So you've got the round lights, you've got the bronze or the bronze effect on the walls. You've got much more natural light.
Yeah.
We've also got the fact that it's in a box, and there's 2 boxes.
And you've got the thing with a box station is you have the opportunity to just do a straight line, so it's very easy to see where you're going. You come in, you can say, oh, escalators, oh, there's a platform down there. Whereas in a mine tunnel, you have to rely a lot more on the signage because there's twists and turns to get around things. So they tend to be a much more straightforward design from the user's point of view.
It's gorgeous.
Can we go and have a look at the escalators?
I think that'd be a very good idea.
All right, let's do it.
Let's have a little look-see here. I love the fact that these are, we really are being given full access to these places.
I know.
This is a proper nosy round before anybody else. Laura, before we go any further, let me just show you an image to give you a bit more clarity in your head, because you weren't there, so it makes sense to give you a bit more understanding of what this looks like. Here, can you see, if you sunk all of that underground, Laura, you would see there's 2 box shafts and then the platforms that run beneath them. Does that make a bit more sense?
It does. That image does really help. And I think what struck me from your clip, like my first, I mean, it's a wow reveal for sure. But the first thing was just that sense of space. It's huge, isn't it? There's just such a vast amount of space and so well used. And again, the lighting is just lovely. I liked their use at the beginning as well of the clear glass panels so that you can see through. And again, giving you even more sense of space. So nothing's kind of too blocked out. So really, really lovely clip, guys. Nice. And I'm excited to see the rest.
Grand stuff. I mean, one of the things that really struck me, Chris and Siddy, was that truthfully, it's the daylight that made it feel even bigger. I don't know whether that's an architectural thing, but certainly it gave me the impression, Sids, that I was in a much bigger space because effectively the sun was shining.
Yeah, well, it's a very good way of making people feel kind of that they're not in an enclosed space or underground or anything. Because of that box design, you actually get daylight coming in all the way through the station. So it does make it feel a lot bigger, doesn't it? And I just think, we were saying it's definitely feeling a little heritagey. Obviously, Paddington has got such a long history, having been, a great Western railway station from the 1800s. All up until today. So it really, it has a really lovely kind of, I don't know, luxurious sort of feel to it, doesn't it?
Old meets new, doesn't it? And I think, Chris, that when Siddy mentioned it, it was a really interesting observation that Charles Holden's designs were usually very bronzy and dark brown, really, in colour. And actually, the thing that's really struck me about this design at Paddington, and because of the Great Western Railway Station, and because of the newness of the Elizabeth line and the Crossrail project, is it does tie old and new really well, doesn't it?
It does. I think just the use of that heavy bronze work makes it have a kind of a mature design feel. You tend to see that where modern buildings use it, that's what they're doing. They're conveying a solidity and a permanence to the design by putting a quite extravagant material like that on it. The station itself has to sit alongside one of London's oldest stations. That the mainline station's been there since 1838, year after Euston was built. As we mentioned very briefly at the start of the show, that it was one of the first underground stations as well. Farringdon was the western terminus of the Metropolitan Railway back in 1863. So it's got a huge amount of heritage that it has to sit alongside whilst feeling utterly modern. And that canopy that you're underneath, it's 120 meters long. It's vast. It gets a huge amount of daylight in to gather and shed down into the deep platform levels below.
Gorgeous. 1838, just before 20 to 7. We've got a couple more pictures to show you, and these help to kind of give you a bit of navigation as well. Chris, what we got?
Back in 2017, Sidney and I and some of our colleagues from the museum were fortunate enough to go and visit the site during construction. And here we can see that wall when they'd finished the wall. They'd just put in the load beams. So these are the beams that are keeping the walls held apart. They're helping to support the structure of the station and resist the ground pressure pushing it in. And you can see the escalators have just started to be fitted and covered by sheeting.
Bin
My
bags.
goodness.
I love that.
It's a very
They've
big
got bin
bin
bags
bag.
over them.
It's bin bags, isn't it?
My dad would have a field
Giant
day. He sticks everything in
just
bin bags in the
tarts.
loft. Go on.
No, I was saying, I really remember this particular view because I remember seeing that wall and being completely blown away by it because I thought it was just so beautiful. And because everything else was still in construction, the fact seeing one thing complete was very startling. But I mean, wow, it's really come together, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it was reminiscent to me, that wall of Bankside Power Station. That sort of industrial architecture that just takes very, very straightforward designs. It's a brick wall, guys, but they've taken bricks out. It looks stunning. It's so smart. Looks a bit like a kind of a timetable if you sort of blink your eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point. The other thing that they just started to do when we were there was cast the ceiling soffit, and they were casting the concrete, not quite semicircles, the sort of depressions for the lights to fit in. So all those ceiling lights we were looking at they were just starting to put that there when we went. You could get a feel for what it might be like.
I love it. It was beautiful, and it's so different to Farringdon, because Farringdon is sort of a mine station, loads of tunnels. More on that in NQQ, don't worry. But this one is going to be very much more geometric. And let's go back to the station. So we took the lift down to the platforms.
Feels very fast.
Do you feel your tummy drop as well?
Yeah.
Is that,
At least your ears don't pop. That's good.
hey, this is cool, isn't it? There's another train.
Wow.
They are really frequent, aren't they? They are really frequent.
It's the contrast with upstairs is quite striking, isn't it? It's because it's darker. It feels
Yeah,
somehow
it
kind
does.
of more intimate down here.
It's like a department store in Dubai, isn't it? It's really posh
Like a
and
posh-
gleaming as well.
Posh
Put the nicer
Westfield.
trains.
Now, I'm very slightly colourblind, so you're going to have to help me out with this. Is that bronze or is it black?
It's black.
It's black. to
Okay,
me.
because
Yeah.
it looks
Yeah.
black,
It's
but
strongly lit though. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's-
I'm also noticing just up there we've got these glazed panels.
Oh yeah.
what's that for?
Yeah, I don't know. It might be to do with airflow, perhaps.
Or fire control? Is it one of those things like, we've always said the doors are more about fire control than anything else. Could it be about
And then
movement
look-
of air?
Want
Or,
to find out?
If you
Yeah.
look above, we've got some acoustic panels.
Yep.
if you look to your side, we're about to have a train.
But again,
There
it's
is
so
some-
quiet though, isn't it? That
Really is.
And
Very upsetting.
also, the other thing is you'd be experiencing a huge wind rush
Yeah, you
as the
would.
train pushes the air with the piston effect. But because we've got full height here, all of that air is actually being handled under the platform. So we're not experiencing it, and it's just so comfortable.
Is that what it is? So that the air that you'd normally get whoosh whoosh is
Sucked underneath
going
here,
through the pipes
basically,
underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really clever.
And
And again, it's the sheer length
Size of it.
stuns me.
Yeah.
You just look down that platform. I can't even see the end of it, unless there's a mirror at the other end. It could be a mirror. But I can't see the end. That is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think what is down the other end is Bakerloo.
Ooh, can we
Right,
go
okay,
into
let's,
that?
sign it.
yeah,
Shall
let's do
we,
this. Let's do
see
this.
that?
Let's do this. Nice maquette. Lovely
it?
maquette.
Available as a face mask and furniture.
Yeah, it feels more intimate, doesn't it? It feels like close.
Oh, did you hear that whoosh
Yeah.
there? That was
Just get the whistle.
Law, first impressions of the platform, because once again, this is, as I say, it's like a glitzy shopping centre down there.
Yeah, right. I've got a couple of things. So at this station, I saw that there are overhanging, from the ceiling signage. I mean, there was none of that at Farringdon. It was just the digital above the board. So does anyone know why they do have that signage here and they didn't at Farringdon?
No.
Different ceiling arrangement, so
Yeah, I was gonna say.
it's more
Right.
straightforward to do it there, whereas the tunnels are so high when you're
Gotcha.
at Farringdon, they'd be just very long stalks. It wouldn't be very visually appealing.
What
Makes
else did you
sense.
see, Law? What else did you like the look of?
Well, I like that because it's so square and boxy. I feel like for me, the architecture and the design have still got some of that lovely curvature in there. So you've got those kind of oval, big, lovely oval curved pillars, and obviously those circular lights in the ceiling as well, which I think offsets the kind of other angular, boxy feel to it. It's a really nice combination of curve and angle. I really like that. For me, it's very pleasing to the eye. And the platform is so wide. I'm thinking, you know, rush hour there. I'm hoping that there's that, you know, and with it being so long as well, I'm hoping that, you know, there's going to be more flow of people. And, you know, I guess because of the more contemporary design and the ability to learn from past design and previous stations, there's a lovely nod towards kind of the heritage, like you said, but at the same time, it's really progressing and kind of pushing forward to a more contemporary design. Lovely wide platform, lovely use of curves and angles.
And by the way, Liz, by the way, I was just going to say to you on the Elizabeth line, the thing that really struck me, and Chris, just fill us in again, because we touched on it in that film, was how you do not get that hair-blowing wind down the platform. It's because it's all basically flowing under your feet.
Oh yeah, sure throw to me on the hair-blowing wind.
Sorry, you know what I mean, though. You're the techie guy.
So on the diagram that the illustration of the construction that we showed earlier, you could see there are voids below the platforms, and that's why, because the tunnels are so big, there is the space to put these ducts underneath the platform, and the full height doors mean that all of that air being pushed by the piston effect of the train can be directed under the platform and away to a vent rather than into the faces of the passengers and sort of whipping your newspaper away from you down the platform.
And Sids, we touched on it before. The two things that that struck you and I were that there's daylight down that platform because of the design, but also the sheer length of those platforms. And you mentioned in the first episode at Farringdon, it's 244 meters. It's a quarter of a kilometer, that platform. Yep. It's incredible, isn't it?
It's just, I think it's really tough to even kind of imagine, because just for reference, for those who don't know, the standard underground trains at the moment, the tube trains that we use at the moment, are about 100 meters, about 90 meters or so. So these trains are double the size.
Double and a half.
Yeah.
You know,
of normal tube trains. So it just is, it's extraordinary. And it also makes you sort of think like, you know, there won't be any crowding trying to get on the train, because, you know, if there's loads of people in one part of the platform, you can just walk up to any other part and there'll be some space.
Move along, please. Really move along, please. We've got pictures as well of the platform in construction, etc. Chris, what have you got for us? You had your hand up, by the way.
Yeah, just before we get lots and lots of things in the comments, this platform is 208 meters long, 20 meters deep. And the length of trains on the tube, we get asked this a lot: how long's a train on the tube? Depends on the line, depends on the stock, and you'll find that the cars on the underground range in length from between 16 18 meters long, and you can have up to 8-car trains. So if you say somewhere between 110 120 meters, that's typical length of a train.
I'm probably thinking
these ones are about double the length, but I know otherwise we'll get somebody getting very precise in the comments. So there you go.
We don't get pedants in the comments. Yeah, we don't get pedants in the comments. What's that all about?
I'm actually probably thinking of pre-war lengths, because they were shorter back then. So
everything looked bigger yesterday, didn't it? Pictures, Chris. Right. So what we're looking at then, Christoph?
So this is looking from that ticket hall level down to platform level, through the escalators being built and past one of those slightly elliptical supporting columns. And I love that, Laura, that you picked out, I think we talked about it, I can't remember if we talked about it on film, but exactly that thing of the juxtaposition of the box with circular structures inside it, so that it doesn't all feel so rectangular.
It is gorgeous. And I mean, I'm always fascinated by the construction of an escalator, the fact there is so much back of house. All that stuff that you can see there pretty much can't be seen by the member of the public. Is that right?
That's right. It's all clad.
It's all under the floor level, if you like. And also, you can just see a glimpse, which we're about to see more of in a second, of the track bed. So let's have another look at another one, Crystal.
Yeah, you can see through the doors the lower doors are just being fitted there, and you can see the rails. I think this next one is a bit where there's actually some protective sheeting on those panels.
Look at that. You see, and that is the ceiling, isn't it, of the platform? That's what we're looking at. Is that right? I'm seeing
that's right.
Those roundy lights. I love the old flory tubes. Look at those, the old temporary lighting that they put up when they're building it. But on the left-hand side there is the plastic that's covering the platform edge doors. Isn't that right?
That's exactly right.
And when I said to you about the black in the film, it's actually the black panels that sit above those platform edge doors. And as I say, I'm very slightly colorblind, so the guys tend to help me out with subtle color changes. But that stuff in the middle, was that the escalators before they were put in?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Crikey, isn't it incredible to see how it's all being built?
Giant Meccano kit, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got another one, haven't you? Another picture.
Yeah, one more.
And this shows height as well, which is really interesting. So that again is the top. I mean, it's on a crane, isn't it? Really looking down at platform edge and those doors. Wow, incredible. Thoughts, Laura?
I was just thinking that there was a point in my life where a picture of an escalator or multiple escalators being fitted would not have excited me as much as it does now. And I blame the three of you equally for that entire process happening.
Alas, 4 lockdowns have done this to us, and we're all relenting now. So then we decided that we would go and have a look at another bit of sort of tubey infrastructure, because this is the link down to the Bakerloo line. Although, did we actually get access to it? That's the question.
One of the things that I've noticed is down here, and actually Chris on camera noticed this as well, is it's actually not really bright on these platforms. It's actually really subdued, almost sexy lighting.
I think, it's giving me like a cocktail bar vibe, like 5 p.m.
Pina colada?
Yeah, or just like a
pina colada.
Like a cosmopolitan or something, like sophistication.
I wouldn't know.
But on this lovely roundel bench that we've got behind us, very reminiscent of the Haven at Canary Wharf, for example. Yes. But neat little design. You can't cheekily rest your cocktail glass on them because they've been rounded.
Beveled. They've got a bevel.
The other thing is, we were talking about the lighting colour last week, weren't we? Again, warm light.
Warm light to linger.
Yeah.
Cool light to get lost.
Speaking of which, should we go and see if we can find the Bakerloo line?
Yeah, because this really intrigued me. Because do you remember this was just mentioned very, very much in passing earlier on, and they said, and there's also this kind of corridor that will go to the Bakerloo. I was like, yes, let's go.
That's amazing.
We've done a lift already. Should we take the stairs this time?
Let's do it.
Really?
That's where it is, the Bakerloo line.
Let's do it. And this is going to be the interchange, isn't it, between effectively the Elizabeth line and the Bakerloo line. This is what we're going to be able to do.
Okay. And of course, it's all step-free. There's lots of lifts in this building, lots of escalators, but nice occasionally to take the stairs.
Yeah.
More of an occasion.
Occasionally, and it's better to go down than up, as we know from Hampstead.
It's got like a new building smell. It's really nice.
Cooler light.
Did I tell you, by the way, I don't normally have a sense of smell.
But you can smell the Elizabeth line?
In the last week, it's come back.
Oh!
So there's just
very
smell.
clean smell.
It's very
It's a
clean.
really cool smell. And although I was coming here on the tube, and you get some of the smells from some of the places. I love it because I can smell it again.
Oh, wow.
Great. I love it.
And we've got the bronze back again.
Yeah.
Which is rather nice.
Oh,
Look at all the sound damping material as well. We've got the echo test.
That's really good. And so
good.
through that door, you're going to be able to interchange with the Bakerloo line. I mean, that's a game changer.
Ladies first. Go on, Sid.
I mean, it's going to be...
Let's go through the keyhole.
Full PP beyond this zone, so we need to be in full orange.
Will we get away with it?
I was wondering whether we could hear trains on the other side. But while we're here, again, colour palette that we saw last week at Farringdon, you've got that sort of slightly beige concrete colour, the hospital corners, and our granazzo for the floor
Just out of
tiles.
interest, by the way, I don't like to break rules. I just like to test them. If we can't go in there, can we open the door and look in there?
No.
No.
See, I was not impressed with that. I have to say, in telly terms, there is the tease, all right? And we call it something else sometimes in telly terms. But that wasn't even a tease. It didn't even open the door. However, if you're a Patreon, I believe we do have footage of behind the door. Don't we, Mr. Dix?
I have a photo from it under construction from 2017, so we'll show that on Patreon.
Siddy, he's so tight normally. Why didn't you back me up? I wanted you to go, yeah, everyone open the door.
Oh God, I can't go against the PPE gods, man. Once it's got full PPE, you know, you gotta put on the full orange. So
I'd love for that moment, you know, when you say the PPE gods to come back to me. There was a flood of white light and me in an angel's outfit like that. That would be rather nice, wouldn't it?
I'll sort that in post.
Yes, thank you very much. Bless you. Laura, so we didn't get a look behind the Bakerloo line. You'll have to wait for the Patreon episode to see that. But I mean, in terms of where everything is, it makes life so much easier to be able to get from the Tube to the Elizabeth line through these little corridors.
Yeah, I think Siddy mentioned in the clip that she called it a game changer, and it absolutely is. Everything about this line is just increasing connectivity, which is just vital for the Tube, especially after this crazy kind of couple of years we've had. So I agree that it's a game changer. And do you know what, Alex? You asked the question, and that's all you can do. It may have been a knockback on this occasion, but well done you for asking. I mean, that's all we can do when we're at these places.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a natural when it comes to knockbacks. I've had it all my life. But yes, as a trained journalist, the one thing I do is ask an awful lot of questions.
Access may have been denied, but I think your use of vocabulary, particularly in this episode, I am loving. We've had some whoosh whoosh of the air, which I particularly love, and station in a box. I mean, you just keep on rocking it, Al.
And you know, the one word I never use is amazing. So that's the great thing about it. You know, I need to use more amazings in these episodes. Christopher.
Yes.
Alex, do you know when I put my ear to the door to listen to hear what I could hear on the other side? Do you know what I heard?
The C.
Very small violin.
Very, very good. Very, very good. Here's the world's smallest symphony violin. It's great. So then we decided to get lost because, frankly, after all of that, we'd seen too much and our eyes were tired. So we decided to touch out.
Oh, it's a long way down. Do you know what? I love being here. Little doors for little things. Lovely maps.
Yep.
Still love a map. Love a map. And then there's this glorious symmetry of escalators and the station, you know, the train doors and all that kind of caper. It really is stunning, isn't it?
The joy of a station box is you get these views up that you just don't get in a mine station.
Yeah.
And lovely little things here, like they've used this space that would otherwise be sort of bumping into the lift, into the escalator, by filling it in with equipment and services.
Yeah, it's really clever.
And this lovely cornering, it's all beautifully round. Everything's just beautifully detailed, isn't it? Shall we have a wander up?
We should.
Yeah.
We haven't
let's
used
do it.
escalators yet, so it's about
No,
time.
it's about time we used a moving walkway, isn't
Oh,
it?
and we're
really?
missing Laura, who always gets startled when they go faster.
She loves woo, here we go.
There we go.
Again, the thing you've got to be marvelling at is
Yeah.
this is like the Northern Line extension. Wherever you look, at whatever speed the escalators are going, views just reveal themselves and they're all stunning, aren't they? I mean, look at this again.
We're getting that first view of the artwork in the glazed ceiling there, glazed roof.
Cloud index.
Yeah.
And the totem, now this would be a totem wood, wouldn't it?
Well,
Because there aren't many totems.
This is
Maybe
kind of
that.
an individual totem,
Yeah.
really.
Well, there's a
that'd be
couple over there, but you know,
Totem
they're-
orchard.
Solitary totem.
these are just lone trees, lone totem poles.
What I
it's a
like
totem
about them, though,
garden.
is how versatile they are.
Yeah.
Whether they're there together as a group or whether they're used as individual things, you can hang CCTV off them, up lights, provide information. Just a very clever idea.
And the other thing is, it's huge. I mean, looking at the size of this is absolutely enormous, isn't it?
It is, it's just vast. And also, you get to see some of the engineering on display here. These huge central spars which are holding out the walls. They're literally there in compression,
Yeah.
holding back those walls of the box.
Actually, this is reminding me. So many years ago, Chris was taking me around Westminster, which is also a box. And there they've got some floating bits of something. This kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, it's somewhere between that's reminiscent to me a little bit of Canary Wharf and the pillars there, and then those horizontal beams are very much like Westminster.
Yeah.
And that's a civil engineering term, isn't it? Floating bits of things, isn't it?
Floating bits
You
of
learned that from your many
Yeah.
years at architecture school.
Yep.
What
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like about this, though, compared with those two Jubilee line stations, is just how much warmer it
Yeah,
feels here.
yeah.
Westminster's very clinical and industrial, but here
Canary
we've
Wharf
got
is-
these
yeah.
warm tones, and it feels a lot more welcoming.
Yeah.
So the engineering's still on show, but it's a nicer show,
I
perhaps.
think Westminster looks arty. This looks architectural.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Come on, let's go up another
Let's go
escalation.
Yeah,
upstairs.
let's-
Yeah.
Never normally go out of these tube stations without touching out. This is so naughty. But here we are, look, back in the ticket hall, if you like.
Yeah.
Glass lift shafts, beautiful symmetrical escalators, and we're sort of here in Artwork Central, really,
Yeah,
aren't we?
it is.
Yeah, Spencer Finch's work up there, the Cloud
Cloud
Index.
Index.
It's a shame we're not here on a nicer day, really, is it?
Yeah, so you don't see it quite as well. But also the glass panels that you see on the outside there, they've got a design on them which is inspired by the Great Western Railway's building here, basically, because it's got all this kind of intricate stonework on the outside of it. So it's really beautiful to see how they've integrated the heritage of this station whilst also creating something
And look at this
modern
view.
and beautiful.
It's absolutely
Stunning.
stunning. It's industrial,
Wow.
it's gorgeous. What a lovely station.
It's a lovely place to rise up through, isn't it?
I love this station. I love how it's so different to Farringdon. That's one of the things I would say, because
Yeah.
everything else was very sort of circular in Farringdon. This is very square, but really bronzy and beautiful.
Really warm. It's got, you know, it's really nodding towards the history of this station. You know, you really get the character of Paddington shining through.
And the thing I like about it, although it is quite rectangular as a whole shape, it's got lots of circular shapes within it that help to give it a slightly softer feel. Those pillars, the beams, the ceiling soffits.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a pretty special second station for us to look at.
I agree. So where are we going to go next, guys?
Well, that's the question.
You'll have to watch next week to find out.
So we went literally from platform level to exit, as you saw. We literally rotated up through the station. And as you leave, or as you enter, depending on which way you're going, you just see these clouds on the glass ceiling of the entrance and exit. And Law, I have to say, they're really, really cute, because even on a clear day or on a grey day, you can still see clouds. It's really clever.
I think it's really lovely, and I love the sense of space there. It feels so big, and I think the glass paneling there on the roof is very clever, because you're either exiting and kind of moving up towards that sky, or you're just kind of leaving it behind, but the light is going to leave you at the very last minute. So I think it's a really clever use of design. I really like it.
Yeah, and Sids, because we shot it like that, you actually see your arrival to your exit in one continuous bit of film. Which is the bit of the station that you like the most? Cheeky question, I know.
Oh, I think it's got to be that the kind of descend into the ticket hall from that level, because you just feel like you're just descending into this kind of beautiful art gallery almost, or something. It's just got a lovely feel to it, and yeah, it feels very grand and deep.
It's intelligent. It's an intelligent space because it gives you so much to feast your eyes upon. You know, often we go to work, don't we? And we don't really want to be going to work. Or maybe we're going to an appointment at the doctor's and we don't want to be going to the doctor's or whatever. These stations give you so much to distract you. And Laura's hinted at it in past episodes where we give you all the things, a toolkit, if you like, to enjoy a journey. Well, I hope we're giving you an idea of how you can enjoy a station, because even modernity, even if you're a fan of history, modernity is beautiful, isn't it, Chris?
It is. I'm totally with Ziddy on my favourite moment from that station, and it is that descent into the ticket hall. Your eye isn't sure where to look, either up at the lovely artwork there or down towards this inviting arena below you with all of these lovely things that we've shown today. Thing I like about the artwork there from Spencer Finch is there's a little bit of a nod, I think, to how photos used to be taken a long time ago. Back in the olden times, film wasn't capable of picking out clouds on a bright day. The contrast couldn't actually show them. So if you ever see a really old photograph that's got clouds on it, it's because they added it in when they processed the film. They had a separate slide with clouds that they would overlay on the negative before they created the print. So there you go. That's kind of what that artwork does. When you go down there, if you're on a perfectly blue, clear day, it overlays the clouds for you.
You're gonna get everything on these shows, honestly. I mean, we've had Sister Wendy, we've had Lois Grossman, we've had the lot. It's fantastic. These are what the Hangouts have become. Thank us later. Merry Christmas. First of all, thank you to Lou Andrew and to Hamza and to Rishi for showing us around and looking after us, because what I was struck by as well was how much back office there is in these stations. It's a rabbit warren around there, and we had to find one door with 3 letters on it. Honestly, it took us about 10 minutes. It was utterly crazy.
20 minutes.
Wasn't it? And then there's this lovely bit where it says, all you need to do to make sure you gain access, everyone just look into the camera. So the person at the other end would have just seen 3 of us lying going, it wouldn't have, so it would have been great. Thank you so much to the team there. Thanks for showing us around your beautiful station. And we now have to come to the minefield, which is notes, queries and questions. Now, episode 1 of this little mini-series was at Farringdon. And first of all, thank you for watching. It's Monday morning, it's quite early. You can tell we're a little bit subdued because we're quite tired. And we are working our way through the 3.1K viewers in just over 24 hours. Thank you. I'm also working through the 56 comments which have been left under the film. So sit back, grab a gin, here we go. First of all, C. Wheeler, hello. A few places the video comments are made about how exciting it is to have a new tube line, okay? Little T, or a new underground line, including reference to the new tube line, the Jubilee line. However, it isn't correct that the Elizabeth line, it's not a tube line, but part of a separate mode, in the same way that the overground or DLR are different modes to the tube. This is evidenced by the different colour schemes for the roundels, perhaps something to clarify in notes, queries and questions. And you know what, he wrote it in such a lovely way. I do feel a little bit naughty taking the mick, but so it's had 7 likes, this comment. Christopher, I'm going to defer to you because we've had the tube issue before, haven't we? Is it big T or little t? Tell me.
So here we go. Yes, the Elizabeth line is a separate railway, effectively. It's a complicated beastie because some of it runs on Network Rail and the central section runs through what will be 5 London Underground run stations. And so it's, if we think about what makes up a lowercase t tube railway, so just a railway that happens to run a tube, well, it is that. It's an electrically powered line deep below ground in a tunnel that's been bored. Hopefully you're not yet.
In a tube.
And
a loo roll tube, yeah?
But the thing that we have a lot is what do we mean by the word tube with a capital T? Okay, now the tube, and this is TfL's own, this is our own style guidance here, is tube with a capital T is now used to mean all of the underground. That's why when you see on Reaches for Prop, a tube map, always keep one handy, a tube map, it does not say map of London Underground, it says tube map, and it's got all of the subsurface, it's got all of the deep hyphen tube railway, and if you look on it, it's also got Docklands Light Railway, and also it shows overground as well. Now it's clear that they're different lines, but that's the tube map. Now there is a separate thing, which is the...
Are you keeping up with this, by the way? Are you keeping up with this?
Yep.
Keep watching.
And there is another map, a separate map, which has London connections on it, which is where you'll find Thameslink and other Network Rail services. that connect into that bigger network. So there you go. It's a bit more nuanced than some of the comments would say. Yes, the Elizabeth line is its own thing. That's why it's got a purple roundel on it and not one with these colours. But it is a lowercase tube railway because it's going through a tube, isn't it?
We've got a fact sheet on this. Don't worry.
Yeah. I would put my heart on it and hand on it and say I refer to it as a tube, brand new tube line, meaning that it will be in service, connecting into the London Underground. And as Chris says, 5 of those stations are directly going to be run by the London Underground. So I will put my hand on my heart and say I'm very sorry, guys, if there were any confusions.
Laura, are you still awake?
Do you know what I am? I was actually more excited, sorry guys, that I had the same tube map as Chris.
Thank God you're here.
So
Thank God you're here.
I floated off towards this and but it all makes sense. Thanks,
because
guys.
it gets worse now. Thanks, Sea Wheeler, by the way. And much as we joke, thank you very much for leaving a comment. We do genuinely appreciate it, and it gives us a chance to comment. But it gets worse because Gerbil Major, who I actually like, and we have a long conversation with, he picked up on my work as well. Alex, they're not light bulbs, they're lamps. This is a light bulb, right?
Yeah.
This is a lamp.
Yeah.
What do we call them in tube stations?
Well, that if it was in a tube station would still be called a light bulb, okay, because that's a light bulb. But where you've got the lighting element is part of the structure of the lamp, then that becomes a lumiere because it's not replaceable.
That's ridiculous.
That's so
honestly.
It's
Gerbil Major does go on to say, by the way, well done, Chris. Technical name is indeed luminaires. Uplighting has been used to light escalators as if it gives a nice soft lighting effect. He got 5 likes for that. So well done, Gerbil Major. Kevin Reed says, brilliant episode. Well done, presented by you 4 lovely people. It's a minefield, this. It's a minefield. Gerbil Major says, I love that you are so into lighting. Most people don't notice it. As a lighting engineer, we design you see, we design an invisible substance that you can only see the effect of. If the job is done right, the user should not be aware of it unless you've got eagle eyes like ours. It's really cool, actually. I mean, I have to say, although we joke about this, and there have been a lot of comments left, including this one, Mr. Goggins' Garage said Camberwick Green was the TV show that we talked about with the gates, because that were Windy Miller was not on Trumpton, was on Camberwick Green. What would we do without you, actually?
Do you know what? That's the most important thing to get corrected out of everything.
I love it. Mapala 78, such a great episode. Tim P says, love this program. Could you simply also run Thameslink stock trains through there, says Raphael Nicholas. Could we? Could anybody?
I don't think anybody's tried. No, I think they've designed specifically for that. So they've got the Elizabeth line trains, of course, have got a signalling system that's dedicated to that track, and they are automatic trains, so they are designed specifically to run in that space. So you can't just take a train off another line and run them through.
Now here's an interesting one from Rick Anker. I love it I love your comments anyway. You make us laugh, you make us think, but also you really make us think sometimes. Rick says, with the length of the trains on the Elizabeth line, are there any points on any other underground line where theoretically that train of that length would simultaneously be in 2 stations, right? So, okay, this is to suspend belief. First of all, shrink down the Elizabeth line trains to fit in a tube tunnel. That's the first thing you have to do. Secondly, cast your minds to 2 places where stations are close together. I'm thinking Covent Garden to Leicester Square on the Pick, or Northern Line Embankment to Charing Cross on the Northern.
250 meters between Leicester Square and Covent Garden. So yeah,
250 or
250. Yeah. So
the trains are 200.
The short answer is no. There aren't any. There aren't any tube stations.
But how is that? Do you know what the embankment to Charing Cross is? Because
270.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the second shortest.
Laura, you still with us?
I am, yes.
Good, just checking. You Lazy Git says, I was on the live premiere. This is fantastic. Not least Farringdon Station was the destination where I started my career at Cardinal House all those years ago. It's been some years since I visited, but love you all. Thank you. I love you all too. I think we just need to do 3 photographs to finish this, because This is an intellectual tangle, this Hidden London Hangout, as you can probably imagine. We're all a little dumbstruck, but we will try to answer every question that comes our way. These are exclusives. We are the first people to go down to these finished stations and film them and show you. So we're delighted to be able to do that for you. And keep the banter coming, because it does make us laugh. The WhatsApp group between us is really entertaining, because we do actually banter about the comments. Let me try and work out the ones we're going to talk about on the air. 3 photographs, Chris. Hit us with them. This one, I have to show you, is Darren. And Darren, frankly, collided with me at Charing Cross on Saturday before the episode, and he just went, tapped me on the shoulder, he went, I'll be watching, loving the shows. You got me through lockdown. So team, meet Darren. He's amazing.
Hello, Darren.
Oh.
Thanks for watching.
Hi, Darren.
Cute. Picture 2.
Hi, Darren.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. This one is
Did this
from
one come up to you on
Alexia.
YouTube as well?
Now, don't you think, London Transport Museum, I think they're giving you a run for your money here. Alexia says, hi, Alex, I thought I'd share this with you. Our transport-themed Christmas tree decked out with roundels, buses and trains. I have to say, my Christmas tree would not be complete without those beautiful mirror roundels that I bought about half a dozen of 2 years ago. I love them. And looking at that, look, Laura, we've got a train at the bottom of the tree. Now, can you see down the bottom of that tree, there is a Christmas tree, sorry, there's a Christmas tube train hanging on the tree. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know how much they are? 28 quid.
Well,
28 quid. Because I found them in a very expensive shop on Saturday, and even I thought it's a bit much for me. So well done, Alexia. Well done.
That's
you are
a
true
lovely
to that
tree.
cause. Beautiful stuff. And finally, Christopher, our photograph that was sent to you, actually, wasn't it? What do you reckon then? This is from Donald, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good value ticket by modern day standards, but proper London Transport 10p ticket. And for a bonus point, just have a look down at Bank as the comment says. You see, it's got the escalator marked between Bank and Monument.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Travelator.
It did, didn't it? And if you look at that as well, that was when the Waterloo and City line was British Rail, not part of the London. Oh, now, Alex, be really careful with this one. It's got a different colour roundel. What would it be? Little T-tube?
Yeah. Oh, and guys, a little branch to Aldwych is still there.
Oh, sweet, sweet. And also, do you not notice that the blue of the Piccadilly line is actually quite pale blue?
It is. And of course, the East London line is there as its own thing rather than being part of the Overground.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Donald, for that. Thank you so much for all of your questions. I mean, you know, although we like to make a bit of heavy weather out of it, they do make us smile, and they also make us think. I was really intrigued by that question about whether a train would be able to be in, say, Covent Garden and Leicester Square at the same time. Alas, not. But you probably could peer down the tunnel and see it, which would be rather nice. Chris Nix, I'm quite tired now, but thank you so much for starting my Monday with this.
Well, thank you. It's been exciting to start exploring these places with you all. And this week, of course, has begun the trial operations of the Elizabeth line. So all of the testing, about 150 exercises and system tests, procedure tests, which is all part of the line approaching opening in the next 6 months. So 174,000 passengers a day, I think, expected to use that station when it opens. So a lot of work to do between now and then.
Amazing. Quick question as well. Luminaire, because when it goes, you have to chuck it out?
It's not a light fitting on its own, so no.
Oh,
still a bulb.
Shame. So much to learn, Alex. So much to learn. Sidney Holloway, you're gorgeous. Thank you so much.
To be honest, I don't know anything about bulbs either, so I'm with you on that one. What a fun little trip. We are learning all together every day, every episode. We learn something new, guys. So it's a hoot, and I'm really looking forward to where we're going next.
Me too. Thought police, as you can probably hear. Chris, Luminaire, because you have to chuck. No, I'm only joking. And Laura Hilton Brown, thank you so much, as always, for your artistic impressions of our beautiful new station at Paddington.
Oh, that's okay. Bit minimal today, but thanks for taking us there. It was really nice station. So my word, I'm going to go with inviting, because of the lovely mix of materials and the very clever use of light and artwork. So there we go, mixing it up with the word inviting.
I love it. See, it all goes full circle. And Chris, you've got something huge in your hand. What's that?
Alex, luminaire, because when that goes, I have to chuck it out. I can't just replace the bulb in it.
Do you know, I actually get like heart palpitations because I see this in full screen and I just think to myself, is there any prop in that garage of his that he's not got? It's incredible. Here's a luminaire, everyone.
There's a 5-story warehouse in that direction.
There's actually a series of doozers. Do you remember the days of Fraggle Rock going up and down on little ladders, grabbing in props as the show emerges? It's great.
Chris is actually in a yellow storage room somewhere.
Our very own Chris Nick's big yellow storage man. It's great. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks, as always, for finding us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment down below. Give us your witty bants. Give us your fun. Give us your questions. Chuck it all at us. We'll try and make sense of it through the episode. Also, if you want some hints as to where we're going next time, find us on Instagram, Alex Grundon, Chris Nick, City Holloway, Hidden London Law, and at LT Museum. I know where we're going next. You don't, but you will find out in a week's time. Have yourself a great day and stay safe.